Why shouldn't we rush to divide people into friends and enemies? In everyday life, many arguments start because we automatically put others on the enemy side, whether at work, at home, or among friends. This doesn't mean we love conflict. It's just how the brain works. It prefers quick categories because that saves energy. But the problem is, if the categories is wrong, correcting it will cost us even more effort. In psychology, there is a concept called in-group versus out-group bias. Humans tend to trust insiders and doubt outsiders. So, how can we break free from this mental trap? In modern Chinese practice, there is a three-step method that helps us analyze friends and opponents more calmly. Today, I will use a simple case study to show you how it works. Let's take an example. Imagine a school that decided to introduce online teaching. At first glance, we can see three major groups: the teachers, the students and their parents, and the school administrators. Now, even within the teachers, attitudes are not the same. Those with long commutes may welcome the change because online teaching saves their hours of traveling each week. But teachers who live close to the campus may feel it unnecessarily, and some of them could even resist. The younger teachers are usually more willing to try new tools, since the learning curve is not so steep for them. Older teachers, on the other hand, often prefer traditional ways. They might worry online class could weaken their authority or reduce the value of their experience. The same complexity exists among students and parents. A self-disciplined student or who lives far from the campus may support the reform because it offers convenience. But the others, especially those who depend on the classroom atmosphere or enjoy the social life on campus, could be strongly opposed. Administrators are also divided. Senior leaders tend to support the move because they care about efficiency, cost savings, and the school's reputation. Middle managers, however, often find themselves in the middle. They may fear extra workload or the risk of being blamed if problems appears, so they hesitate. This shows us something important. Dividing people into groups is not black and white. Even within the same group, there are different positions and different worries. Categorization alone is not enough. The second step is to analyze their interests. For example, a young teacher who commutes a long way, at first he may support online teaching. But if he hears a rumor that salaries might drop because of the reform, he could quickly change sides. His real interests are clear. He wants to save commuting time, but not at the cost of his income or his job security. We also need to pay attention to the form openness. Think of an older teacher who has taught in classrooms for decades. Face-to-face teaching is the only true education. He may feel that online classes undermine the dignity of the profession. For people like this, no matter how many benefits we explain, it will be very difficult to change their minds. So, whether someone supports or resists, what matters most is understanding the motivates behind their stance. That brings us to the third step, tailoring struggles. For supporters, the best approach is not only to reward them, but also to involve them as advocates, encourage them to spread their enthusiasm to others. For those who are undecided, we need to address their fears directly, reassume them that the risks will be shared, and highlight the potential benefits such as career development or recognition. Former opponents must be treated differently. They should never be forced or suppressed. Let's go back to the old teacher as an example. One way to help is to give him extra transition time. Another option is to provide one-on-one training or allow part of his courses to remain offline for a while so that he can adapt gradually. And if he still refuses, the school can offer a fair exit, perhaps another position or a retirement package to avoid open conflict. Handled this way, reforms can move forward more smoothly, and at the same time, the institution's reputation remains intact. So as you can see, different groups require different approaches. That's the essence of this three-step process. First, identify the groups. Second, analyze their interests. And third, tailor struggles. Once you master this method, you will find that in both work and daily life, handling challenges becomes more organized, more efficient, and less stressful. I'm Little Bamboo Yayue. I want to share these ideas with you in my own voice. So if you'd like to hear more about Chinese philosophy, subscribe and stay connected. See you next time.